Starting now.
Here we are with Steve Struggle and myself, Dr. Abraham Weisfeld, and we've got the update on the major events happening in Los Angeles, being confronted with the multi-layered, repressive apparatus, which is being knitted together into some sort of counter-revolutionary force that is seeking to expel, well, ultimately Mr. de Trump said that he was targeting 62 million Mexicans in the United States of America, both citizens and migrants. He doesn't differentiate. He couldn't care less. All he cares about is getting the white Americans to be the majority of the country again. And you can see in the demographics, background here that it's not very well known. It's not very well talked about, but there's an immense German American presence represented by Donald Trump is his real name because he's German. And the political culture of colonialism is apparent here, in which the German Americans were handed over free land in the settlers' campaign of coursing across the continent and displacing the original indigenous nations to this purple section there in the center, and that's about all that's left as an autonomous region for the First Nations of Turtle Island, which is what we're all living on right now. Interesting that they called it Turtle Island as well, because they were aware of the continent while Europe didn't even know that it existed and called it the New World. No, no. North America and South America were populated by Asian populations, since about 25,000 years, or depending on the coast, between 12 and 25,000 years. And yet, like Europe comes along and says that they've discovered and taken possession of this whole territory. Well, that's to be seen, isn't it? We're now being confronted with that very issue. Steve, what is it that you've been able to pull together here now?
Well, thank you, Abraham. Glad to be with you today. I want to welcome all of our viewers and encourage them to like and share because as we've said almost every episode of this show, we're just not reporting the news. We're involved in the struggles that we're reporting on. What's happening? Okay. I just received some kind of Amber Alert about the LAPD and Highway Patrol. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a freeway occupation occurring now. I can't back that up, but something is occurring with LAPD and the Highway Patrol that usually involves civil disobedience. So as I get more information, I'll pass it on. What I know of is that yesterday there was a press conference and it seems as though ICE is continuing to go to the worker center, where jobless migrants go to look for work. So they're going there to arrest migrants because migrants look there for work. It's just a sad day. Um, we have some images I want to share with you to show just how ICE has been pulling all this off. I think I have them ready for you here. Let's see. All right. Here's the first one. This is from yesterday. Still want to let people know that this is the map, one of the maps that the Homeland Security and ICE used in the Monday attack on the MacArthur Park area, Operation Camelot or something like that. Um, they have this. They show the tanks. They're going to be the trucks, police car, number of soldiers, 21 soldiers here, 39 soldiers there, the Mexican embassy, just how they had organized the whole area as in a military attack. Now, this, to my knowledge, has not yet been discussed in the LA Times. Now, if you and I are talking about this right now on this broadcast, excuse my language, you damn sure know LA Times has a copy of this document, right? Right.
Mm.
And they're not sharing it. They want to censor the fact this was a military operation. So right now that's not happening. There's no discussion of this document and what was really going on that day. Um, there also have been some interesting pictures. I want to show a picture right here. This is a picture of the area near the police department where the police are seen tear gassing youth who are protesting police brutality against the Latin community. As the LA Mall to the upper left, the police department is to the lower right. You can't see in the picture. However, this picture I think is very good. Take a look at this. This is how ICE operates. I want you to just look at it very carefully. When you see videos on when you see videos on Instagram, this is what you see. An ICE agent grabbing somebody, choking the person, throwing them to the ground. That's what's going on. I want our viewers to look at this. We're not saying, may I have your ID, please, ma'am? Okay, you're under, no kind of civil approach to making the arrest. Okay, just grab him, choke him, throw him on the ground. Who gives a damn? He's just another Mexican. I want you to see that. Okay, that's what's going on in LA. That picture right there. And there's a list on the same magazine that there are at least 20 raids in the last 2 or 3 days of facilities. So that's what's going on. That's it. Back to you, Abraham. Back to you.
Uh, Steve, please come closer to the microphone. We want to hear more.
Okay. Yeah, no problem. I am. I'm just, yeah. Yeah. But that's it. That's basically what's going on right now.
Hmm.
More
Yeah,
police
he's
there.
being choked like George Floyd.
Yeah, well, that's how they again. Let me show it again. That's how they're doing it. That's what has happened. What you see there is the daily life of brown skinned people in LA, especially those who live in communities which have been targeted for these raids. Grab by the throat, throw them on the ground, mask yourself, arrest, detention, and put in some concentration camp somewhere. That's it.
So he's probably going to that internment camp in Florida Everglades, surrounded by crocodiles.
We have no idea where they're headed. That's a cold thing about it.
Yeah. But that internment camp in the Everglades, that's just a prototype. That's just one of so many other internment camps that are going to be set up in the country. Because, Mr. de Trump, is targeting 62 million Mexicans, in the United States, whether citizens or not. We can see the extent of the Mexican population here in the demographic map of the United States, which there's 5 states: Texas, Arizona, California, and there's 2 others. I don't know what they are.
New Mexico and Utah.
Uh, those were the Mexican territories occupied by the United States in the 19th century. A funny thing about that territorial acquisition is that at the time, Karl Marx thought that it was a progressive development, that capitalism was growing so much, and as a capitalist state overcoming the feudalistic, supposedly Mexican state by occupying it and bringing it into the 20th century. This is supposed to have been progressive, according to Karl Marx, one of his mistakes, I believe. And yet it is still Mexican. And I understand that in California alone, that 44% of the population actually wants to leave the United States of America and either become independent or become part of Mexico again.
Well,
Mexico is interesting, because the prime minister of Mexico right now is a very progressive woman, Scheinbaum, who's actually Jewish Mexican. And she has sent 80,000 Mexican soldiers to the border with the United States of America to prevent any mass expulsions of Mexicans, I would think. Something like, the situation in Gaza with Egypt sending its soldiers on the border there to prevent the Zionist state from expelling the Palestinians into the Sinai desert of Egypt. Seems like a similar stalemate or standoff happening there. I don't think that Mr. Trump is going to be able to expel any millions of Mexicans into Mexico. No way, no how.
I think his the real issue here is to brutalize, like that picture shows. That picture is the reality. That's what they want to do. Terrorize, brutalize, demean, insult, and bring to the floor large numbers of Mexican American men, in particular men, and
Mm.
and separate the children from their families. I just want to make a point. Um, the I don't know of any poll that has said that people in California want to become part of Mexico. There is a movement to become its own country or to become part of Canada, Mexico, California, Oregon, and Washington become part of Canada. There is a small movement there. Also, this map, it misses out Colorado, which is next to Utah, which was part of Mexico. I would say half of Colorado was part of Mexico. The half which is right next to Utah. I'm just looking at the historical things I just want to share about the map. What's happened though is that the Latin population, like the black population, the Black Belt South, has been pushed into cities. So many except in Arizona, we have there's an issue with the issue. There's a reality of the native reservations or the Navajo Nation, which is a large part of Arizona. So you wouldn't consider that Mexican is kind of an autonomous region.
Yeah.
Even though it's part of the United States, it is the Navajo Nation and the tribe does control significant parts of it, as well as in New Mexico. The Pueblos are controlled by the indigenous population. So you have an overlap of the Mexican nation and the different native nations. That's all.
You had a list of all the places that were raided by ICE.
Sure. Yeah. I can show it to you again. Allow me to get up here, please. Let's see if I can do it
Because
again.
they're really digging down deep.
Oh no, yeah, they're not on that. They're not really playing in the sense of playing around. Here we go, right here.
Oh, yeah.
Gardening truck, Home Depot, three of them at Home Depot. Bell Garden. That picture above is from Bell Gardens. Bell Gardens is is an immigrant community in eastern LA County, southeastern LA County. Car wash, three raids on the car wash, three raids.
Mm.
Gold's Gym and Garden Grove. Most of these are in LA County. Fullerton and Garden Grove are in Orange County. 405 Military Caravan, 7th and Hope, that's downtown LA. Norman and Beverly, that's in LA. Santa Ana, Orange County, one of the Orange County seats. Lakewood, that's in South LA County. Fullerton, Orange County. Ontario is in Ontario County, yeah, another county. So this is a three county um, assault in so far. in the LA area. And this website is called LA Taco. So people should definitely check it out because it has day-to-day information on what's going on.
Fine. Uh, what are the various police forces that are being mobilized to do this? How are they putting this together?
That's a very good question. Let's go back to do a little bit more sharing here from yesterday's story that came out. So if you look at the yesterday's story from Ken
Oh,
Epstein, you'll see here that the police departments are listed here. County Sheriff, City Police, IRS, Marines, ICE, Homeland Security, Federal Protective Service, FBI, DEA, Border Patrol, and alcohol, tobacco, and firearms and explosives. So one,
oh,
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12. Okay. 11 law enforcement and one tax agency. The tax agency, I don't know why they're there. I guess they had to just do something for some yes.
what about the National Guard of California? I don't see them there.
They're not there. They're
Whoa.
they're listed as an auxiliary because they
Uh,
don't have the ability to arrest anybody. They're supposed to be there to protect ATF, Border Patrol, DEA, FBI, Federal Protective Service, Homeland Security, ICE. And yeah, they're supposed to be protecting them. The Marine the Marines' purpose also is kind of cloudy. I mean, what they really are doing is protecting supposedly the federal building and the ICE headquarters. So you have a federal agency protecting ICE, and you have a state agency protecting ICE.
wow.
Yeah, that's it.
Um, yesterday, you were trying to find anything from the governor, what the
Oh
governor had
yeah,
to say about this.
the governor. I haven't looked on his website. He's, he's they're playing it down. They're trying to play it down.
Hmm.
Um, because if the governor had said something of substance, we would know about it, wouldn't we? Yes,
Hmm.
we would. So if you look at the LA Times today, this article here from the World Socialist website. I mean, I don't agree with their entire political line, but I have to say it's a very good art. I have to say it's a very good article. Um, Military operation in Los Angeles signals escalation of fascist
Wow.
movements. It's a very good art. It's everything you and I
This
have.
is LA Times?
No, the World
Oh,
Socialist
oh,
website.
well, okay,
This,
fascist. And
this is
the
what
word
the LA
fascist
Times,
there was,
LA Times should have something like this, and it
yeah.
happened in Los Angeles. Let's just see what LA Times. Let's look at LA Times. Let's look. Okay, LA Times.
Huh.
Let's look. Let's look right now.
Yeah.
Let's look and see what they're saying here. That's something we can look. LATimes.com. Here, okay. They're looking at firestorms, Texas floods, Steve Miller, his revenge.
Oh, they're not giving it a priority, are they
Look,
now?
look, I'm showing the front page. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, where is the priority?
Huh.
Did you see any? Nope.
Nothing.
It's nothing so far. We're looking at the paper. Now, here's an article about ICE raids. I mean, yes, here it is right here. So you have this
Hmm.
article here at the
Wow.
bottom of the paper, of the online paper. You have this video here, but nothing, there's no print stories about it. Here they are right here. Here are the major print stories. There's 8 here. There's 5 over here. Nothing. They're talking about Stephen Miller, this little bastard from Santa Monica, racist pig that he is. But I'm saying, as far as a covering, you know what I'm saying? A covering, they have an article about here's the interesting. In the print paper or the e-paper, they're still sweeping homeless camps. That's how they do it. It's very good. Very good. This is how they do it. The cops sit there. You're homeless. You're near camp. You got to get out, and they watch you get out. That's how it's done. Right there is how it's done. So again, they're sweeping the homeless. They're doing that. They cover that, and that's they can cover it. That's fine. But as far as anything else, as far as what happened yesterday, nope. Or Monday, nope. It's not there. Here, this is the actual print paper. Okay. Um, Nothing, nothing. This is about, again, an article about what's happened, what happens when they raid places and they leave their vendor cards, vehicles. There's an issue about that happening now. And some community groups are demanding that there be an amnesty on rent increases or rent payments because people can't make money now because they've been seized by ICE. So that is a story that's growing, but this doesn't talk about it here. So you see right here, it's not covering it, right? It's not there. This is a daily paper. They're covering it up. They're not, and if you and I are talking about this, then they have to know about it, right? Right.
Okay, Steve, are you still there?
Yes, I am here.
Okay, good. Okay. Are you recording still?
Yes, I am.
Very good, because I'm not. My computer crashed again.
Okay.
Okay, so at least you got the recording there, then you'll be able to upload it then.
Okay.
Um, I guess that's about it for this moment.
Okay.
And uh, this is going to continue on, like this is just the beginning. And we can follow this and report on it so that people are going to get the full story. Because what happened is that the mayor, as we showed in the first episode, told them to get lost, and they did. So they weren't really ready to proceed. They didn't have the support to go ahead, with what they had planned there. And it seems that they were just testing out, how far they could get away with it all. So we have yet to see what's going to be escalating here, and we'll
Well,
report on that. Very
well,
good.
I would like for our viewers to keep in mind that this was a military operation carried out by the federal government with at least 8 federal agencies involved. There was a massive amount of money spent to do this. You and I both agree that something happened in that nobody was in the park besides the children who were on summer day camp and they were terrorized. No,
Hmm.
no apology to those children. nothing done to deal with the trauma they're going through with people with horses and people with guns walking through the park.
Mhm.
But this was planned. Trump has said nothing because he approves of this. And this is what the immigration, anti-immigrant movement in the United States has created through the Trump administration and the federal government. No one in Congress has said a word. No one in the Senate has said a word. The government's been very mute about it. Really only the mayor and local people have been upset. And as far as we know, the city council didn't know anything about it. So this is where it's headed. And if they can pull it off here, they can pull it off in other major cities or smaller towns. And that's the danger of it all. And we see the press is suppressing this story. They didn't
Mhm.
just they didn't just show up and they just showed up. No, no, no. The documents that were leaked shows that this is a planned operation to bring terror, to bring fear, to bring the power of the government into full focus.
Okay. So we'll continue reporting on this. So let's end this transmission for the time being and see if we have been able to save, what we have been recording. I haven't been able to, so I hope that your recording is going to work. Okay, so let's see what happens, when we end the session and convert this for uploading.
Thank you.